Howdy, I'm Jack and welcome to Kerbal Space Program 250, where we're gonna be flying my iteration of the famous Starship. As you can see, the orbital stack is already assembled. Now I know the forward section of the ship doesn't really look true to life, but it's good enough, okay? I went kinda the NASA way and added parachutes to the passenger section, as it was easier to land and our fuel expenditure was lower. Here you can see the cargo that we're going to put into orbit in a nice and spinning fashion. It's just a simple comp satellite. We also got a monopropellant tank and an additional SAS wheels towards forward. I've tried my best to build the Starship engines as close to real-life counterpart as possible, which cannot be said about the booster aft section, where I've dropped the signature skirt-like engine cover. Decided to use the RS-25 Space Shuttle / SLS style engines replica because of their gimbal capabilities and generated thrust ASL. And the thrust-to-weight ratio is around 1.3, I think. So since now you know what's going on with the ship, let's cut straight to the launch. And we have launch, we have liftoff, going to space into orbit, because this is a orbital ship already. We didn't have to test anything, we didn't have to crash dozens of ships. We are just going straight into orbit. Now the booster is going to be expendable, you're gonna see. I'm gonna use all of the fuel in the booster. I did not find an elegant way to get the booster back. It's kinda like flying a potato, I guess. Nice and heavy potato at that. So the playback is obviously quicker for my sake and for your guys' sake. I wouldn't want you guys to sit through 20 minutes of just looking at the same image pretty much. But here we are doing our gravity turn kinda late, because I'm going for a slightly higher orbit than you would usually go in KSP. So the atmosphere, so the Kármán line is at 70 kilometers. We are going for like a 90 kilometers apoapsis and around 85 periapsis. Now we can start sort of pulling down on a stick, because we are nearly out of fuel and our apoapsis is high above the Kármán line, and we got flame out. But here we have the separation, and as I said, the booster is expendable, so we're gonna leave it behind. We are able to use SAS control wheels to our advantage. Surprisingly enough, the ship isn't spinning out of control, which sometimes happens, as spoiler alert, you're gonna see that exact thing happens to the contents of our cargo bay. So now we're gonna start our vacuum engines, and we basically gotta wait till we reach apoapsis. We're gonna make a maneuver node in a second. And here we are on our voyage to the stars. Kinda panning around the ship, looking at it so you guys can see it better. Here we go for the maneuver node. Create a maneuver plan. Drag prograde, and we can see periapsis. That's a mod. My mods are listed in the description below if you want to check that out. This is super useful. It works for periapsis, apoapsis, and of course for rendezvousing in orbit. We're back at the Starship. We're just gonna burn a little bit prograde. It's not a huge burn. From what I can see, it's around 500 required delta V. Ah, this looks beautiful. The aft section of the Starship, when the engines are firing, is absolutely beautiful. We are nearly at our designated periapsis. Just a little bit more, 5 more seconds. And we're gonna have a beautiful circle, and we are in space. We have the orbit established, the engines are glowing red, they're hot, just a little bit prograde push, and we skipped the cargo bay opening containing our satellite, a small little satellite that's gonna be spinning out of control in just a few seconds. We're gonna decrease the force on the coupler so it doesn't crash into anything, and we're gonna decouple the satellite and use our RCS to maneuver the Starship out of the way so the satellite can clear the ship. And we have a floating decoupler, of course. Of course, that's gonna happen, and that's gonna be bound to our ship, sadly, so it's gonna return back to Kerbal with us. The satellite is free. We are just waiting for it to clear the vehicle a little bit more, and we have the solar panel deployment. We bumped into one of the cargo bay doors, I believe. and we went into a little bitty spin that can be corrected, and that's the glitch that I was talking about. The SAS isn't even enabled yet. I'm trying to deal with it through SAS, trying to point the satellite prograde, but of course it doesn't work. So I locked the SAS into place and decided to go back to the ship and close the cargo bay door and pretend nothing happened. It's a really nice shot of the ship with some background on the left of your screen. We just gonna skip that part. Straight to our maneuver node planning. We're gonna plan our deorbit burn. So I'm kinda aiming for the landmass to the east of Kerbal Space Center. I kinda wanna eyeball it on the landing, but not too much. I'm trying to get the crash dot somewhere around the landmass on the other side of the ocean, kind of, as you can see. Oh, such a nice shot. The sun rising above the horizon, lighting up the atmosphere particles, and our Starship basically blinding us. This game is absolutely amazing when it works. The visuals, the music, of course. Music is incredible, the audio of this game. But KSP, of course, isn't without its problems. Some bugs I encountered are, as you saw, the game paused and paused multiple times glitch. I got the SAS glitch, as you saw with the satellite. Sometimes I can't control a crafting LKO, even if I disable the comms net. Of course, the wobbly rockets are still a thing, because there was no update whatsoever, and we are beginning our deorbit burn, by the way. Good time to talk about that. I'm just gonna skip around a little bit. The couplers don't work, as you see. The top of your screen, that's a decoupler from the satellite. Ships get randomly destroyed, sometimes in orbit, sometimes in interplanetary space. We also have a humongous orbital change on its own and quick orbital decay. Like the satellite that we just deployed, it went up to 600 kilometers and deorbited itself. We got missing orbital lines entirely, and we are starting our landing burn, I suppose. We are just aiming for one of the landing pads, but ultimately we're gonna land somewhere more green, you'll see. So I'm missing the orbital lines, you know? Sometimes only around celestial bodies, sometimes entirely. Got the weird camera glitch where the ship kind of outruns the camera and spins out at the end. Also experienced camera glitch on EVA, believe it or not. When I got a Kerbal out of the ship, I was barely able to even get back to the capsule. And as everyone else, I experienced huge performance issues, even though I'm playing that on an RTX 3080, which should technically run this game flawlessly. But let's not dive into it yet. It's just an early access game, it is to be expected, but I expected like day 2, day 3 update on Steam. And that brings us back to our landing maneuvering. I kinda maneuvered the ship so that we were able to land somewhere on the pads. First, I was going for the pad number, I believe 3. It's that's the one on the right, kinda closer to the runway. But ultimately, we are aiming for the trees. I'm not sure how to land the Starship in this game yet, at least with the weird physics. I can't really atmosphere brake. Doesn't really work as intended, I suppose, because it doesn't really slow us down that much. We are going 270 meters per second in the atmosphere. That's an unpowered flight. That is a crazy amount of speed. So that's one of the reasons I went for the parachutes. Kinda got the chutes destroyed, I believe, so I repacked them, kinda cut that and deployed them again. I think. But we're landing with the parachutes opening and slowing us down, as well as the engines burning beneath us, also taking our speed away. We got landing gear deployed because we have small landing legs down under the skirt where the engines are. Can't really see them. We are practically on the ground, almost safe, and watch this beautiful landing at 5 meters per second constantly. Who's the best Starship fucking pilot? I'm gonna have to raise the bar because I said the F word. But here we are on the ground safely. We didn't even tip over and we got our decoupler back with us. This is sadly the end of this journey, hopefully with many more to come. Let me know what you think about the video, hit a like if you enjoyed or a dislike if you didn't, and I shall see you in the next one.